Before we begin, I should probably give some background information to those who do not hang around my channel with bated breath. A while back I had posted two videos which were entitled Why the Tree and Plan B, in which I attempted to explain the fall of man. I later fused the two into a video divisively entitled Not God's Fault. This spawned quite a bit of debate and discussion since its release. In recent days, following the events of acquiring a better microphone and switching to a better video editor, I decided to do another video which was, for the most part, a reboot of Not God's Fault. This video I entitled God and the Fall of Man. The initial responses I got from this showed that I had not covered all of what was needed to be covered, or even what I had previously included in the video's predecessors. This realization came primarily courtesy of Tooltime 9901. I immediately began preparations to insert the needed portions into the video. After I had completed the insertions and uploaded the video, I removed the original, carelessly not preserving the exchange between Tooltime, aka Peter, and myself. Not to be ignored, Peter posted a video response to this latest installment of Explaining Christianity. With that said, and having already devoured a great deal of my valuable resource reserve consisting of 10 minutes, I shall address the points he made in his video. As in previous video responses, I will be displaying the time tags of the section in Peter's video I am responding to at any given point. First of all, when I say Adam and Eve had no conscience, this is not to say that they had no conception whatsoever of right and wrong. People who we understand to have no conscience today, the sociopaths, are not devoid of any concept whatsoever of right or wrong, but rather do not find the concept personally compelling. Another characteristic of someone without a conscience is that they are unable to differentiate between when they are doing something wrong and when they are doing something right, unless they are told directly and specifically by another person. With this in mind, I draw two conclusions. 1. A conscience's jobs are to inform a person, more or less, of the moral virtue or vice of specific actions and to compel the person in favor of virtue. 2. That a conscience is created when both of these concepts are internalized. Second of all, I would like to provide for you the logical argument Adam and Eve could have used against the serpent's rather bad rhetoric. God made you for a purpose. Outside of that purpose, your life is meaningless. To act against God's wishes would be to not fulfill the purpose you were created for. Therefore, to act against God's wishes renders your existence less meaningful. It is important to note that when I refer to free will, I am speaking specifically of moral free will, which is the ability to choose between right and wrong, or to put it another way, the ability to choose to obey God or not to obey God. I am sure once that is clear, you can see the immediate ridiculousness of giving a being free will in this sense, yet not affording any opportunity for said being to go south on you. There is a clear logical contradiction to such a notion, akin to allowing someone to travel either right or left on a forkless road. In your next objection, you provide a hypothetical scenario pertaining to these beings you made up. I will not mention what you decided to call them, for fear that this video would subsequently be removed at the behest of LucasArts on the grounds of a copyright violation. From here on out, I shall refer to these things as the Ogniphi, O-G-N-I-P-H-I, which is the plural of the word ognif, O-G-N-I-P-H. Now, these very strange creatures, while retaining their black robes, gigantic horns reminiscent of RPG demons, and roughly foot-long claws, they have the very strange properties of being a living contradiction. You see, the Ogniphi are creatures with free will, yet they will always, when faced with a decision, choose the evil option. Clearly, they cannot be bound to such obvious determinism while retaining free will. Don't tell them that, though. They will almost certainly attempt to kill you. We may contrast, but most certainly not compare the Ognif to a human, who, when faced with a decision, are capable of choosing either good or evil, completely of their own volition. I will forgive you this contradiction on the grounds that this example you gave was given before I specified moral free will as what I am referring to when I say free will. Your last question was, what is so desirable about free will anyway? Well, certain things come to mind. The opportunity for a moral good, such as choosing to refuse an evil action, for instance. I think all we really need to get into in this conversation, though, is that free will is what we were made for. One might say it's the one thing that separates us from the animals. But given how often that phrase is uttered, I think you would be justified in doubting it.